Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, I also rise on this occasion to join the members and also the leader of the House, leader of the opposition, to condole the death of 17 illustrious personalities who have been leaders of their respective states, and to pay homage to their contribution and to their dedication towards public service. Sir, amongst the 17, 5 of these departed leaders belong to our state, a mention of whom has been made by several of our members. Sir, I also would like to submit a few memories of our beloved leaders who have gone before us, with Robert Kharshian, a former MLA and a former member of the Parliament. Sir, he was instrumental in the students' movement in the state as General Secretary of the Meghalaya Students' Union from 1983 to 85, and also as President of the Khasi Students' Union from 1981 to 1983. And it would be a great tribute for this leader to be remembered in the flag of the KSU, the blue flag, that he was instrumental in designing, and also he played a key role in drafting the constitution of the KSU. Sir, as Member of Parliament, I, on behalf of the people from Roy constituency, would like to thank this great soul who had contributed to our constituency also at that point in time when he was as Member of Parliament, and through his funds had helped to develop many projects in the constituency, sir. He was such a great soul, a friend and a brother. Sir, in the loss of late J.D. Rambai, we have lost a great leader from Ribhoi, sir, and the state as a whole. Coming from humble beginnings, late J.D. Rambai was born and brought up in a village called Kuranghulu in my constituency, sir. A very beautiful hamlet. And J.D. Rambai had also studied in Borumbong. Coming from such humble beginnings in a rural constituency and coming up from families that had faced a lot of difficulties, sir, late J.D. Rambai had grown to earn respect and honor as becoming a teacher, and he has served in many schools. He has groomed many youths at that point of time. Until now, they remember his contributions and hard work as a teacher, sir. Sir, he has also brought up the fame and name of Ribhoi as one of the serving chief ministers at that time, even though it was brief, but he has contributed a lot to the growth of his constituency and to Ribhoi and to the state as a whole, sir. Sir, this political stalwart has left behind a legacy that we all remember in his humility, in his approachability, and in his kindness and his soft-spoken attitude, which as young leaders and as citizens of the state, we remember and pay our homage. Sir, Inma Singh Mule, a vibrant leader of his time and one of the founding members of the UDP, I remember him, sir, as one of the young volunteers of the UDP, how his hearty laugh would make the room very comfortable, and at the same time, he was so approachable and friendly as a leader, sir. Sir, coming from humble beginnings to serve many terms as member of the District Council and 2 terms as MLA, Singmuli has contributed a lot, sir, to the growth of his constituency, to his district, and to the state as a whole, sir. We remember him, sir, and pray for the repose of his soul. Sir, in late Alvinstone M. Sangma, we pay homage and tribute as he is one of the pioneers of the Hill State movement, sir. And he was in charge of the recruitment and training of the non-violent direct action volunteers in Garbins. And sir, as one of the preservers of Meghalaya's indigenous culture and values, his contribution remains embedded in the minds of those who are near to him and also to the citizens of the state who remember him in memory. Sir, in late R.G. Lyngdoh, whom all of members have richly paid their contributions and tribute. Sir, an outspoken person, a leader to the core, honest and upright, a poet, a singer, a musician, a friend and a teacher. Perhaps these are only few definitions of the man that he was. But sir, being only 10 years in active politics, he leaves an indelible mark in the political history of the state and remains an icon for many of our youths. Sir, our state and country has been deeply enriched by the life of R.G. Lyngdoh. He led from the front, and as our honorable member from Maukarwat had rightly recalled, how he led a procession during that particular period of turmoil when people were scared to even attend the Independence Day celebrations. But then late R.G. Lyngdoh, as Home Minister, he led a procession of people towards the polo grounds to celebrate and lead from the front to ensure that we participate in this very momentous, historic national occasion of Independence Day, sir. Such was his resoluteness and a decisiveness that leaves a mark of leadership and of dedication that remains embedded in our minds. So, when we visited the family on his demise, there was a soft music that played near his coffin. Perhaps that tells us a lot about his person. A man who embraced life as he could embrace death, a legacy to be remembered, sir. Sir, amongst these 5 illustrious leaders, we have lost several other leaders across the country, sir, who have contributed a lot to the growth of the country and to the growth of the people whom they cared for. And we stand here all to condole the death of our leaders and their demise. We have been bereft of the leadership and perhaps the legacy to be followed by one and all. So may God grant eternal peace to the souls of our departed leaders, and we pray that God gives strength and fortitude to the families of the bereaved as they try to accept these losses. So with these few submissions, I resume my seat.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I also rise to join with the Leader of the House and the Leader of the Opposition and other members of this august House in condoling the death and loss of different leaders in different parts of the country, including from our state. We have lost as many as 17 leaders from different parts of the country, including 5 prominent and illustrious leaders from our own state. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am not closely associated with all these leaders, but I was privileged to be associated with few of the leaders from our own state. And from these leaders, I would like to refer to few. First of all, I would like to refer to late Albinston M. Sangma, whom I was closely associated with since my childhood. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, late Albinston M. Sangma. He was our clan uncle. And I remember during my childhood days, my late mother used to take me along to visit his place. And very often, late Albinston M. Sangma used to interact with me since those days when I was very young. And he used to encourage me. And he used to refer to those days when they were actively involved in the statute movement. And he was actively socializing himself with different clans other than his own clan, Manda clan also. In his political career, he happened to be the member of the Garhwal's Autonomous District Council for 20 years from 1958 to 1978. And during these years, he was also the executive member of the GHADC, and subsequently from 1976 to 1978, he happened to be the chief executive member of the Garhwal's Autonomous District Council. Then, in 1978, he was elected as the member of this August House, representing Rongrengri constituency. And again in 1983, he was re-elected from Congress ticket to the same constituency, that is Rongrengri constituency. And during his tenure as the member of this August House, he was privileged to serve the people of this state as minister, having different portfolios, including, I remember, Soil Conservation Department. I remember in his old days, till the last stage of his life, he was very active. We can see very few people of this kind. He was privileged to be active till the last part of his life. Only in the last 6 months only, he couldn't go out. Otherwise, even after the pandemic and the lockdown also, he used to move around, visiting different families in the town of Tura, even attending funeral services. But in the last 6 months only, he was a little bit weak, and I could see till the last part of his life, he could read newspapers, he could participate actively in all kinds of discussions. But on the 16th of June, when he breathed his last, I was traveling to Shillong, and I got the news of his demise, and I had to go back, and I was privileged to attend his funeral on the next day. That is how we lost a great soul who was closely associated even with me, and he could attain the age of 97. He was almost touching 98. With his demise, it's a great loss to the family, the members and the relatives of his family, Manda clan, and to the entire Garo society, and to the state of Meghalaya as a whole. I convey my deepest condolences to the members of the bereaved family. I would also like to remember late J.D. Rimbai, the former chief minister of this beautiful state. In 1998, I happened to meet him for the first time when, right after general election, Mr. Salsing Marak sworn in as the chief minister. There was floor test. It was still in the old assembly building. I was in the visitors gallery. That time, late J.D. Rimbai was parliamentary affairs minister. So what I could notice during that floor test, since the ruling dispensation then was not having requisite number, the then parliamentary affairs minister, late J.D. Rimbai, was pleased not to move the vote of confidence on the floor of the House. That is how then Congress government lost the majority and let B.V. Lyngdoh become the chief minister. Then when I got elected for the first time in 2003, I was also the member of this August House together with late J.D. Rimbai. Then in 2006, he became the chief minister. Although it was for a short period, then what I could see on him was he was very simple, dedicated to serve the downtrodden, soft-spoken, and very honest. So with the demise of late J.D. Rimbai, it's a great loss to the entire state, particularly to members of the bereaved family. So taking this opportunity, I would like to convey my deepest condolences through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to the members of the bereaved family. I pray that his soul will have eternal peace. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also remember late R.G. Lyngdoh, who was like elder brother to me and a friend as well. For the first time in my life, I happened to meet him in 1998 when he visited my native place, Ampati, as it was rightly mentioned by the leader of the House, by the leader of the opposition. When he was elected for the first time to be the member of this August House in 1998, there was an incident, as it was mentioned by the LO, that number of people, number of families, numbering more than 300, migrated from the southern part of the East Khasi Hills district of this state to Ampati. Then R.G. Lyngdoh was also instrumental, along with other legislators. I still remember, like Let Sipren, R. Sangma, Mr. K.C. Moman representing Tura, Dr. Mukul Sangma who represented Ampati, number of MLAs. They were holding meetings, convincing them to come back to their original place of Shela, which was accomplished after lots of due diligence and hard working of different MLAs, including late R.G. Lyngdoh. Then when I got elected to be the member of this August House in 2003, I was in the Treasury bench. But during those days, we used to participate during question hours. And it was late R.G. Lyngdoh who always used to welcome me, putting questions to the departments. Those were held by him, especially the Home Department, Home Police, Education, etc. So, he was a man who used to encourage the young junior legislators and trying to groom the beginners in the political arena. And when he took retirement from the active politics in 2008, he was engaging himself in different activities, different organizations, including being Vice Chancellor of University. And when I became the Minister in charge of Sports and Youth Affairs, by virtue of the Minister of Sports, I was the President of Meghalaya State Olympic Association. When late R.G. Lyngdoh was the working president of the Meghalaya State Olympic Association, by then we were holding several meetings together in uplifting and developing different disciplines in the field of sports. So it was late R.G. Lyngdoh who contributed lots of ideas for the reformation of the Meghalaya State Olympic Association. With the passing away of late R.G. Lyngdoh, it's a great loss to the family, to the society, and to the state as a whole. I convey my deepest condolences through Mr. Speaker, sir, to the members of the Berry family, and I pray that his soul rest in eternal peace. We also lost late Singh Moli, who was member of this August House for 2 consecutive terms from 1998 to 2008. I remember when we were together as the members of this August House from 2003 to 2008, he was minister holding portfolios of PHE, forest. So he was a nice gentleman, soft-spoken, and he was approachable to all kinds of people. So with the demise of late Ma Singh Moli, it's a great loss to the Joy constituency, and to the entire state as a whole. I also convey my deepest condolences to the members of the Berry family. We also lost late Robert Kersing, who was active in social activities. He was student activist, and he contributed a lot in framing, rather, the drafting the constitution and in contributing in strengthening the Khasi Students' Union. He was member of this August House for a short while, and subsequently he became the member of the parliament in Rajya Sabha. I was not closely associated with him. So with the demise of late Robert Kersing, it's a big loss to the community, to the society, and the state as a whole. So I convey my deepest condolences to Mr. Speaker, sir, to the members of the Berry family. I pray that his soul rest in eternal peace. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have also lost as many as 12 more leaders from different parts of the country, including former chief ministers, former member of parliaments, former legislators of different legislative assemblies. So with the demise of these great leaders, it's a great loss to the respective states of these great leaders and the country as a whole. So I convey my deepest condolences to you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to the members of Berry family of these respective leaders. I pray that the souls of these great leaders rest in peace. With these few words, thanking you, Mr. Speaker, sir, I resume my seat.
Honorable Speaker, sir. I also rise to participate in the obituary references, along with the Leader of the House, the Leader of the Opposition, and my esteemed colleagues who have already expressed their deepest condolences on the demise of 17 stalwarts which have lost their lives and have left behind legacies and left behind a trail of the services that they have delivered during their lifetime as public servants. Out of the 17 dignitaries that have lost their lives in the last 6 months, 12 are from various parts of the country, and 5 are our own from the state of Meghalaya, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to convey my deepest condolences through your chair, sir, to the family of late J.D. Rambai, the former Chief Minister of Meghalaya, sir. Mr. J.D. Rambai, sir, was like a father figure to me, and I had a personal relationship with him since I've worked hand in hand with him for a very long time, sir. I had known him since 1990 when I was an officer posted in Nong Po. Mr. Rambai was a very soft-spoken man and very disciplined and lived a very simple life, sir. In 1993, when he became the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, he was deeply associated with the grassroots of his district. He had brought a lot of developmental works in Riboy district, particularly in Jirang, from where he was representing. Then he became the Chief Minister of the state on the 15th of June 2006 and was Chief Minister for about 8 months till about the 10th of March 2007. During this period, I was posted as the officer on special duty to the Chief Minister, and that was how my association with late J.D. Rambai became more closer. And as a Chief Minister of the state, I found him to be very humble. He was very concerned of the poorer sections of the state. He did have a lot of vision for the people of the state as a Chief Minister, but his tenure was too short to accomplish his visions or his dreams for the state. Nevertheless, he continued to serve the state, to serve the people of the state. And on his demise, I felt a personal loss and a great loss to the state as well. Sir, I would like to also condole the death of late R.G. Lyngdoh. So I have fond memories of working very closely with R.G. Lyngdoh, particularly when he was a Minister of Home and Minister of Tourism. That was the time when I was Director of Tourism, and he was my Minister. I found him to be a very straightforward man. He never compromised on anything. He stuck to the rules. He was very honest and very sincere to his work. And as officers working under him, we still have very fond memories of the decisions that he had taken as a policymaker. And one good quality that I found in him, even as a minister or as a public representative, he was a very light-hearted person and very jovial in his dealings with his counterparts and friends. I found him to be a very dynamic Home Minister then, particularly when our state was reeling under a lot of stress due to the law and order situation of that period. And yet, our late Ba R.G. Lyngdoh succeeded in delivering memorable service to the people of the state, and also in providing a lot of development for the people of Lyngdoh constituency. Honorable Speaker, sir, through you, I would like also to send a message of condolences to the family of late Robert Karshing. He was a very dynamic leader, sir. I had met him several times when he was the Member of Parliament. I also like to condole the death of late Singmuli, who was a representative from Jowai, and he was a minister in several governments. His service and dedication to the people of Jowai and the people of Jaintia Hills as a whole is still remembered. And in fact, it is a great loss for the people of Jaintia Hills as well. So I'd like also to remember late Albinstone Sangma, sir, a tall leader of Garo Hills. I still remember when I was a student in Tura and in Tura Government College. He used to stay in that same area in Hawakhana. I remember very vividly about his contributions as a minister then. And I still remember that there were many, many leaders from Garo Hills, including late P.A. Sangma. They used to meet Mr. Albinstone Sangma and learn a lot of politics and also seek his blessings. So late Albinstone Sangma was also a chief executive member of the district council, I remember, and he also contributed a lot as a minister of the state, sir. So these 5 figures have left us, and all we can do is remember their service and also remember the legacies that they have left behind, sir. So along with the 5 leaders from the state, I would also like to condole the death of the 12 other top leaders of various parts of the country, and through your chair, sir, I would like to convey my deepest condolences to the family of all the 12 dignitaries who have left us during this last 6 months, sir. So with these few words, sir, I'd like to resume my seat. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I also would like to join this August House along with our leader of the House and all the esteemed members of this August House in condoling the demise of all these 17 political stalwarts of the state and the country. I do not have the privilege of knowing every one of them, but I would like to mention a few of these stalwarts whom I had the opportunity and the privilege of meeting them and be able to associate with them. First of all, I pay my respects through you, sir, to late Robert Karshing, who was the Member of Parliament in the Upper House in the Rajya Sabha. Sir, I had the privilege of knowing him and meeting him way back in the early 80s, where he was still a student in the Nehu University, in Nehu, and he was, I think, pursuing his master's in the Department of Anthropology, where he, along with some of his classmates, had made a kind of field visit to Garo Hills to study the culture and the traditions of the Garos. So there, he was there for more than a week, and I had, as one of the students of Tura Government College, I had the privilege of being kind of accompanying them in their field visits and staying with them for the whole week. So it was here that I came to know him personally, and I could say that he was the one who was instrumental in influencing me to take part in politics, because he was encouraging us to ensure that our Garo tribe and culture has to be preserved, and the only way that it could be done is people like us that should come into the politics and be able to protect our rights and protect our identity. So in this brief 1 week together staying with him, I was very much impressed with his vast knowledge of our culture, and also his mind to commit himself to the welfare of the people of our state. Later on, little did I know that I would be stepping into his shoes and to take his place in the parliament, in the upper house of the parliament later on. But when he became the member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha and belonging to the same party, I again had the opportunity of meeting him and be associated with him briefly during his political stint as an MP of the Rajya Sabha representing our state. And later on, I had the honor and the privilege of taking his place in the same, representing the state in the upper house of the parliament. I also came to know his family later on, his brothers and everyone, and I found him very helpful, and he was very serious about the welfare of the people of our state. Next, sir, I pay my respects to Mr. late Alvinston M. Sangma, who had been four times represented in the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council, and also served as an MLA and a minister in the Meghalaya State Assembly. Mr. Alvinston M. Sangma and myself, we belong to one particular community among the Garos. We are, in our region, we are known as Atongs. We speak the same, it is a very different dialect from our regular Garo, the language that we speak, the vernacular that we speak. Now, we speak a little different dialect called Atong, and we belong to the same community of Atongs. And we are also distantly related as a family also. And I grew up with his sons and daughters together, and we were like a family. And he used to tell us stories when we were small. And when I became active in politics, he used to tell me stories of how the state, our state of Meghalaya was achieved, and who were instrumental and who were very active in making this possible, and how he used to tell us stories of so many things that, and I used to know about the history of our people, of our state through him mostly. And during his last days also, he used to call us, he used to invite us, and he would tell us and he would guide us as to how we should take steps to ensure that we preserve our culture, our tradition, and our identity. I was privileged to see him in his last days also. Just 2 days before he passed away, he left for the heavenly abode. Me and my colleague, Mr. Marcus Marak, we had the privilege of visiting his house and speaking to him just 2 days before he left for the heavenly abode. And it is very sad for us that we have lost such a great stalwart and tall figure among the Garo community. So I once again pay my deep respects to his great soul, and also I convey my deep condolences to his bereaved family through you, sir. I had a brief acquaintance with late R.G. Lyngdoh. In fact, I met him only twice, but during my brief acquaintance with him, I found him to be very jolly person, straightforward, and a person who spoke his mind. I met him when I was a member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha during that time, and second time I met him along with our present Chief Minister, Mr. Dr. Conrad K. Sangma, when we went together to visit him at his house. And we spent about more than 1 hour, and he was so open to discuss and share his knowledge and experiences. And I would like to say that I got along with him so well, and we also kept on sharing messages on the phone also later on. These were the few experiences that I had with him, but these experiences took deep root in my heart and in my mind. I did not have the opportunity to meet, associate with Dr. J.D. Rambai, the former Chief Minister and also the Speaker of this Assembly, and also late Ba Singh Muli, MLA and Minister from Joai. I did not have much knowledge about them, but I also joined in paying my respects and my homage to these two stalwarts of our leaders of our state also, and I also extend my deep condolences to the family of these two members who had left for the heavenly abode. So with these few words, sir, I once again also would like to pay my homage and respects to all the other members and stalwarts of the other states of this country who had passed away during these last 6 months. May God grant them peace and also grant solace and take away the griefs of the bereaved families. With these few words, I would like to resume my seat, sir. Thank you very much.